Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Well, we have a very interesting one I want to talk about today, and I got a lot of questions about brokers and the costs and stuff like that. But what really is going on behind the brokerage scene? We push that button and we just don't worry about things. But there's a lot going on in the execution part of that, and we're paying for that, right? So, what are some of the things that the brokers may not be telling you? Well, let's take a deeper dive on this Friday, this Green Friday. I put my green in the back of the screen because green is usually protect the green for the week. So something you want to consider in your trading. Friday is to protect those greens. So anyway, let's get into what are those brokers not telling you and how we could take advantage of some of the things that we're paying for. All right, let's face it, we can't live without them, right? So, we need to push that button in order to be successful. But what are we getting for those dollars that we pay, and what's going on behind the scenes that maybe they're not telling us? But understand first, this is not a tell-all or a kick down. We need brokers, and quite honestly, they need us, and it really facilitates our business. And just like a restaurant has food suppliers, we need the brokers to help facilitate our activity in our decision making. But what's going on with those dollars that we're paying? Because I did a recent study which triggered this video when I was away in Ho Chi Minh and Asia, and I said, wow, I'm paying a lot for these things, right? So I'm paying a lot. I paid more for commissions so far this year than I have total in any year of my career. So let's take a deeper dive in where our brokerage dollars are going, who's keeping them, and where is the money going, and what are we, more importantly, getting from them. All right, the elephant in the room, all right? Commissions. We all know we pay a decent amount of commissions for each transaction. That's, part of the business. But where is that money going? We look at the statement and say, oh my God, these brokers are making so much money. But let's, you take a deeper dive. And some brokers' statements will actually, transaction statements will show this. It'll actually show the breakdown of where the money is going. So particularly on the future side. Some of those commissions are going to exchange fees or NFA fees, which in the future side is futures, sort of protective, regulations and things like that to make the business more, sound and things, and really to protect the trader. But, they're small, but they do add up. And a lot of the exchange fees, when you look at it, sometimes it could be almost up to 1/2 of the total commission. So when we think of commissions as a trader, a lot of times we think that's going to the broker. Well, ultimately, it's not staying with the broker. So understand that they're not making all that money on the transactions. And boy, I'd be investing in a brokerage firm if they did. So understand that breakdown. Let's give them due. They're facilitating, they're collecting the money, but a lot of that goes out the door to other parties. Okay, so keep that in mind. I'm paying a lot here for my commissions, and I did my study. About 17% of my total revenue was a cost was of commissions. It's obviously my highest commissions I have, and higher than my office space and even some staffing. So it's obviously a concern, but I have to look at what I'm getting for that in return, and we'll talk about that in a second. So let's talk about these costs that I call phantom commissions, right? Maybe some of you, especially on the FX side, are not paying commissions, but you're paying for that spread. Well, that can be quite costly, and it's actually kind of dangerous in the sense I call them phantom commissions because sometimes they really don't show up on your statement. They're just part of the whole bid-ask purchase and exit price. But those can add up as well. So what can we do about it? Well, trade liquid pairs, all right? Euro USD, USD JPY. Like I only have 3 or 4 pairs in my arsenal, particularly for that reason. Even if I find an A+ setup on sort of an exotic pair, I'm either going to go low size or just not go at all. All right. So that's just, again, the cost of business that I just want to sort of control. So I'm going to stick to liquid pairs, which are very low spread. And my personal decision is to really use the futures markets where I will pay an actual commission on a centralized exchange. I know that's sort of a unique outlier that for me, but that's something I just prefer. And on the managed side, I have to use centralized brokers, the centralized exchanges to facilitate certain FX transactions. So I really don't have much of a choice. And even on my personal side, I tend to do that. So I'd rather stick to the commission-based product rather than deal with spreads. But what is the cost that you are transacting in those types of situations? So you can take your total volume that you use in a particular period, say a year, and say on Euro USD, maybe use a pip or something like that and say, okay, how much am I paying? For those who are not using commission-based brokers. So consider that it could be quite costly, sometimes more than the commissions itself. Just the fact that we don't see them, they're phantom, allows us to be sort of disguised in a sense, from the broker on the brokerage side. So keep that in mind as well. Now, a quick hack, how to handle these type of things. One of the things I use is when I'm trading futures or options, right? I'm looking to see if my broker is going to get me the mid price. So say you have an options price of say 13, right? That's the bid, and the offer is say 13.20, right? Kind of a normal spread, maybe a little high in this example, right? Well, I don't necessarily always want to pay 13.20, all right? I don't want to pay on the offer, so I'm going to offer mid price. Now, if price comes down, you'll get the mid price, but really a good broker will fight to get you mid price. And a little behind the scenes about the brokerage world is they actually do audits on their third parties, their market makers, to see are they getting mid price for their customers. So for me, one of my brokerage firms I use is not the cheapest, but I get mid price a lot. I get filled at mid price like quite instantly. So to me, that's very, very important. It saves me thousands. So I'm not really worried about the extra, say, 50 cents on a commission transaction. To me, getting mid price is more important. So something, if you're trading, that's something you may want to consider. Even if you're trading equity and you have bigger spreads, see if you can get mid price. And if you get them, you get executed. You should be getting executed pretty soon. But that's something to me that's very, very valuable. And it's not something that I care about on the commission side per se, because I need mid price, save me thousands. Okay, next, platform fees. Are you paying any? All right, you can use TradingView's free platform. Does it give you the tools that you need to do? Well, to be successful, that's something to consider. So two brokerage firms I have, one is primarily for execution. The other one has a lot of platform features, and one of them that I use that's very near and dear to me is market profile, and something that you normally don't see in a lot of platforms, but there's a cost to that. All right, I hopefully generate enough volume every month where I don't have to pay for it, but like everybody tells me, nothing in life is free, Mike, and it's true. You're paying for it somewhere, but even if it's another transaction fees. But that's near and dear to me. That's very important. Are the features such as, tools or the indicators, moving averages? I mean, that's pretty much you can get anywhere. But what are some of the advanced ones? How about back testing, things, software, optimization tools, and things like that? That's really where, you're not paying for them per se, unless you're paying a platform fee. But again, most brokerage firms will waive based on volume. So what am I getting in return for that? Do I need those services? All right. So those are individual decisions that you need to make and think about going forward. And that's why we're doing this video. Give you some ideas on what am I paying for versus what do I need. So platform fees and the platform itself, what am I getting out of it? Something you really need to consider. Okay, next, education. What is your brokerage firm providing you, if you need any, in the form of education? All right. Now, they could be education on how to use the platform, which are really cool tutorials and YouTube videos and things like that. All right. Or education on how to learn how to trade new products. All right. That could be a really good savings where maybe it's free or maybe it costs a little bit as part of the platform. But you know what? I don't need a coach to teach me that now or something. Maybe I can have my coach for other things. So these are some of the things that play a role. Maybe you want to get involved in your development into other products, say, such as options. Well, one of the brokerage firms that I use has, quite honestly, some of the best free education in their Learn Center on options. So that may be well worth the price. If that's not something that's interest to you, well, then what are you paying for versus what you're getting? It's a very individualized decision, but it's something that hopefully this video will trigger you to kind of take a deeper dive and say, do I need all this stuff? And maybe it's essential. So maybe I can't live without it. Something that you have to decide. Okay, and lastly, and this is something that may not have been on my list, say 5, 10 years ago, but what's the value of my time? So I have to factor in, how about issues like customer service? Do I need to reach out to them all the time? Am I going back and forth? One of the things I love is my life of simplicity. So I don't want to have to deal with a lot of issues. I just want to have it. I pay the fee and I want clean transactions, good reporting, stuff like that. So if your platform is crashing, or what if it only supports certain type of desktops, or Windows and versus the other ones, and the Apples and stuff. What about the apps they provide? That has now become, to me, one of the most valuable tools that a brokerage firm can provide me, and I'm blessed to have two firms that really have some of the best in the business, and I'm very happy with it. Not just in execution, but the ability to read things, but also provide reports on, say, delivered to me, that not just appeal to me, but also maybe I can provide to my managed customers so I don't have to go recreating things. That's important to me. My time is very valuable. And if I can have a relationship with a brokerage firm that provides those things without a lot of hassle, that's gold to me. And if it means I have to pay a little more, I'm certainly fine with it. So consider that in the whole mess. I heard horror stories about being on phones with brokerage firms and their business continuity. What about backup if their platform goes down? How can you reach to close a position? Things like that. So factor that all into the decision-making process. It's probably more valuable than you think. Okay, so to wrap this up, think about what you're paying. Do you know what you're paying every period or every year in commissions? What are you getting out of it? What are some of the tools and information that maybe your brokerage firm has that you're just not taking advantage of, right? And then there's other things like phantom things like spreads, that getting mid-price for things like that. How much is there a cost to that? Take a deep dive one day, maybe over the holidays or a slow period. Say, what am I paying for this? All right. I can't believe how much I'm paying for commissions, but am I getting value out of it? A lot of times when I'm thinking about it, I'm saying yes. Traveling just recently and making trades on a plane and not having to worry about UCO orders. That's a big relief to me. And if I have to pay for that, that's fine. I'm really good with it. And having that relationship with your brokerage firm and being able to troubleshoot things when needed, and hopefully not that many times, can help a lot as well. So let this video be a trigger to say, am I in the right place? I'm running a business and a brokerage firm is my vendor. Is that the proper one that I need for me going now and going forward? And let me know, your horror stories. Let me know the good things. Put them in the comments below. We all have them. Let us know, and maybe you can, spread some love and to help our community, with other traders getting the right fit for them. Okay? And we'll see you next time.